I'm Robert Anthony.
I'm Joelle Anthony.
This is Watson. In 2020, we felt God's call in our lives to do something incredibly radical.
In 2023, we sold our flower shop, our home, just about everything we owned, and purchased our Winnebago Flex RV.
This began our trek into the vast unknown. Our mission is to take you along, showing you things you otherwise may never be able to see.
We would be so thankful to have you follow along and become part of our adventures.
Now, let's get to today's video. Well,
Okay.
So I guess they call this art. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more like junk art.
Yeah, maybe. Matter of
Trash
perspective, I
art?
suppose.
Well, welcome to Slab City. If I had one word to describe this place, I would have to say bizarre. Super duper bizarre. So to give you an idea where we're at, Slab City is actually tucked away in the southeastern corner of the California Sonoran Desert. It's actually in Nyland, California, which is also in Imperial County. And to give you another sense of direction, we are about an hour and a half drive from Palm Springs, California.
South, an hour and a half drive south.
South, okay.
Down 111. Yep.
And we're about 45 miles away from the Mexican border.
Calexico.
So with that said, again, this place is quite bizarre, and we're going to be showing you some footage throughout this video. What I've learned with this Slab City here, it actually got its name from concrete slabs that were left behind after World War II from a Marine Corps training base that was actually stationed here in this area during World War II. And from what I read, back in 1952, when the Marine Corps abandoned the base and actually tore down the buildings, concrete slabs were left over, hence the name Slab City. So shortly after the Marines abandoned this area, it soon became like a squatter's paradise because it's free camping, right? Free camping.
That's an understatement.
It definitely is. So what I also learned is this area is about 640 acres, and in that there's about 150 residents, give or take, and quite a few thousands of snowbirds that come in each year.
Is it that many now?
I believe so. It said a couple thousand that come in each year to camp during the winter months. These people, from what I read, pride themselves in the off-grid alternative community lifestyle. And they actually have a motto, and their motto is the last free place in America. And basically what that means is it's free to live here. They pay no rent, and on top of that, there is no running water and no sewer. So they call it the last free place. Rob has some input on that.
I do. Okay. Well, the state of California owns this land. It's not Bureau of Land Management property. It is truly out in the middle of nowhere. It is incredibly desolate out here. I don't know why the heck anybody would want to live out here, but it's replete with garbage everywhere. There is just trash everywhere. From what I understand, the 150 or 200 or so residents, permanent residents that stay here, are getting government funding in some way, shape, or form from the city of California or the state of California or the federal government. So lots of people living for free out here, if you want to call it that. They're living off off the taxpayers. There are two main points of interest here, aren't there?
Right. Yeah,
what are
there are two noble landmarks. One of them being
noble.
They called it.
Okay.
They call it noble landmarks. One of them being Salvation Mountain. Now, this is a colorful hillside tribute to God by a man named Leonard Knight back in the, I think it was like the 1980s. He is now has passed away due to dementia.
He died in 2014 from dementia.
Yeah.
But he lived out here. He lived on his piece of property there in one of the actual trucks that are still on the property right now.
So this is actually a tribute to God and the world, and the message is quite simple, which is God is love, and you'll see that throughout the theme in all of his paintings. And the materials that he used to compose this monument, if you will, is from recycled materials and paint that was actually donated by people in the area. And I actually thought this place was kind of endearing. I mean, I'm a girl. I love bright colors. I love flowers, birds, and hearts. So for me, it was kind of sweet walking through there. What did you think about it?
To me, it was, if you were to take the 12-step programs and all of the displaced flunkies of the 12-step programs, they landed here and built that monument. That's what it reminds me of. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. If you took them all and brought them here, it reminded me walking around there I just stepped out of the world's largest 12-step meeting. That's what I felt like.
That's much different than my thoughts on it. But
so
I would say so.
What's the other the other real point of interest here, if you want to call it that?
It's a place called East Jesus. It's about 30 acres.
Does Jesus live there?
No,
no. Right, just checking.
I know. Well, there isn't any religious connotation with it compared to Salvation Mountain.
Right.
And what it is, I think this is 30 acres. A guy started to create
East
this.
Jesus is 30 acres inside the 600. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, inside the 648. It began in 2006 by a guy, and the name East Jesus actually is just a casual way of saying a place in the middle of nowhere.
You might also know it as BFE.
Yes, out in the boonies.
Same type of thinking. East Jesus, BFE.
Yes.
One and the same.
And so what we learned, a couple of thousand artists have come together to make up this East Jesus. And
they call it art.
They call it art, but it's kind of like junk art. I mean, I felt super strange walking through there. What did you think of it?
I'll tell you what I thought about it. I felt like I walked off the most largest, gigantic set of an episode of Hoarders, Pickers, and Sanford and Son all combined at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, there was just, I don't know.
Trash everywhere.
Yeah.
They get their art from either what they call curbside donations, or people just bring their trash and give it to them. And then they glue it to stuff.
It's actually in the California Museum Association, so I guess it's a big deal.
It's a thing.
You know, it wasn't, it had the bowling alley of low self-esteem.
Bowling alley of low self-esteem.
Yeah, so
I threw the ball a couple of times. That was fun.
Yeah, so just again, it's a super bizarre area, and then there's also, I think,
bizarro world
on steroids. So there's also a hostel in here that you can actually, if you want to get the whole experience of Slab City, you can actually rent a hostel room for, I think, like $30 a night. So if you're interested.
And they do tell you on the Airbnb site for that particular hotel that they do regularly have drug users, gypsies, and homeless.
Yeah.
So be prepared and expect that according to the site. That's what it says.
I will not want to be here after dark. So that's my history and fun facts from this area, Slab City, and my take on some things. So now on to you.
Hey, so you guys have been saying, we want to hear more from her, so we're trying to do our best to incorporate it. We have discovered that Joelle has an amazing memory. I mean, it's like photographic, so she can read stuff about these areas. And honestly, I'm always effing up the facts. I'll say stuff and she's like, that's not what it said. That's not what it was. That's not what it is. From now on, as we progress forward with these episodes, she's going to try to give you kind of the layout of the land and the facts, and I'm just going to add the jackassery commentary. That's what I'm going to do.
That's where he's gifted at.
Yeah, right.
Super gifted.
Yeah, so I hate it out here. I'm going to say that right now. I am never, ever in my life coming back to this part of Southern California. There's no doubt about that in my mind. You know, what this place is to me is it's the home of people that are struggling. This is like the epitome of where people end up. I think about the Prodigal Son story that Jesus talked about, when the son gave the dad a hard time and said he wanted his inheritance, and the dad said, okay, you can have it, and the son went, and according to Jesus, he left and traveled across the land and did all kinds of wild living and spent all of his money and ended up slopping pigs and thinking that he should eat the pig food. Now, what's important about that is bottoming out. Jesus telling that story is actually truly bottoming out back then. The pig is considered the most disgusting animal on the planet to them back then, and then to think about actually eating their food is just horrifyingly bottom. So think, you know, like meth addict that is male meth addict that's prostituting himself out to get money for drugs. That's like the level that we're talking about. Well, there's meth everywhere out here. Yeah. We walk around and there are signs that actually say, I'm out of weed. There's weed currency. A lot of people trade in currency. They trade drugs in currency out here. It's truly depraved, and it's really desolate, and it's very, very sad. And I think that this is kind of the end result of those of us in life that are choosing the wrong thing. You know, life is about choices. Pretty sunset, so the color is going to be changing a lot throughout the video.
Yeah. In
life, we have choices that we can make. We can make good choices, or we can make compromising choices. And it starts in life. When life starts to go downhill, that leads us to places like this ultimately in the end, if we don't turn it around before we get here, it's a choice that's a compromise. It's a compromise in a small thing. That small thing leads to a compromise in another small thing. That compromise leads to a thing that's a bad thing. And that compromise leads to something in a choice that's a terrible thing. And then that leads to a choice that's a catastrophic thing. That lands us in these particular predicaments.
Yeah.
These are rooted in pride. They're rooted in selfishness. And we get to a place where we just clearly don't care about anybody but ourselves. And we end up here. And that's what ends up happening. I feel real heart and sadness for the folks that we see through here, many of which look like they haven't bathed in 2 months. I cannot believe the squalor that some of these folks that people are actually living in these units.
It's scary.
It's really sad, and it's a testimony to how far gone life can get when we don't make the right choices.
And I will say a lot of these people, from what I learned, they're kind of these free thinker type of people, the artsy fartsy that just want to live kind of lawless, free. So I think a lot of these people here, they seem to be very friendly. I just think that this is a choice. They want to live here. They don't want to live in the mainstream society, is from what they
feel like outcasts, you know, like the island of misfit toys, you know, is what it seems like. So we're going to call it good in this episode. We wanted to show you around this area. Our goal is to kind of walk you through some of the places that we see. If you are ever in the California 111 corridor between Palm Springs and the border of Mexico, this is worth coming over and seeing during the day.
It is.
There's a lot of color. You know, you can see all the wrecked cars behind us painted colorfully. There's a lot of things to see that are kind of neat, but do it during the day. They do have parties here at night. They'll have dances, and they'll have all kinds of fun stuff that they do for the residents here. Don't think I'd want to be here, though.
Right.
Based on what I've seen once it gets dark. But yeah, you know, I hope this is fun for you. I hope that you enjoyed kind of looking around. Do you have any parting thoughts? Or
No, it's kind of one of the old sayings, never judge a book by its cover.
What is that supposed to mean?
Driving around here, you don't know what the people are going through, you know, like what's on their mind and, you know, what life has thrown at them.
It seems to me what was on a lot of their minds was drugs.
Also junk, garbage.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy place.
It is.
I would never have imagined a place like this would exist in this country. I don't know. You just
but again,
learn something new every day.
It's been interesting, to say the least.
Thanks for joining us. It's getting dark. Well,
Yes.
the sun's gone down. That means the coyotes are going to start coming out for sure. They're all over around here.
Yes.
And we want to respect their privacy. There are a couple of people that have rigs parked around us that don't have wheels on them and are stuck in the sand, but we want to get out of here so we're not impeding and intruding on their privacy, trying to respect that and be thoughtful humans, which I'm generally not. So, yeah?
I am.
All right.
Well, we will see you in the next one.
See you next week.
Well, we were going to say something else. We hope to see you. What were we going to say? Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
No, go back. Okay, now try it. Hey, we're glad that you're here. We're so happy that you're part of this family. And
we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
yeah, we'll see you next week. Stay
Bye.
tuned.
Should we kind of inject real quick? I forgot to say that the people here live off of solar. There's no running water, so we don't have to. No, okay, I think that was good. Think it was good?
I don't know. I have no idea.